I would say that they're more surprises because they have beginnings, middles, and ends. They're not like, it's not just like a, hey, there's the person and we move on. It's they're there for a reason.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are at the center of a Wrexham scandal after reports surfaced that Blake allegedly used Ryan's influence to manipulate media coverage of It Ends With Us. Leaked texts suggest Blake wanted Ryan to pressure journalists into protecting her reputation while throwing director Justin Baldoni under the bus. Now, Ryan has been removed from Wrexham ownership, and Hollywood insiders are exposing the real story behind the fallout. Was Ryan unfairly caught in Blake's power play, or was he more involved than he's letting on? And how did a Hollywood film controversy turn into one of the biggest sports scandals of the year? Stay tuned, because this story is wilder than anyone expected.
Well, that is also accurate and weirdly high praise as well. It was just one of those. It felt like a live-action Pixar movie. It was something that, I wanted to do something where nobody was being stabbed in the face.
Yes.
There was almost no blood at all. I think I got a little paper cut in the movie. That was about it. And something that my kids can watch, but also as a parent, too, you want the parents need to get punched right in the heart as well.
For years, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively were seen as the perfect celebrity couple. With their witty social media exchanges and carefully curated public appearances, they seemed to have the kind of marriage everyone envied. Ryan, the charming and lovable actor, became one of Hollywood's most bankable stars, while Blake maintained her image as graceful, stylish, and effortlessly cool. Together, they built a brand based on relatability and humor, making fans believe they were just like any normal couple, except with millions in the bank. But behind the scenes, things weren't as perfect as they seemed. Because when Blake signed onto It Ends With Us, a film adaptation of the best-selling novel, things started to unravel. And that's when the real drama began.
And I'm really excited. But as I've gotten a little bit older, I want to. Really, I'm lucky that I get to work in this industry, and particularly incredibly fortunate that I get to work in it this long. But I really want to work with people that are either immensely talented or people that I love and that I'm genuinely best friends with. And unfortunately, Hugh does not qualify as either of those. But I am excited because I'm a Logan fan. So, and then that covers Will Ferrell as well. That's a guy that my entire life, I feel.
At first, Blake's casting in It Ends With Us seemed like a dream come true. The book had a massive fan base, and with Justin Baldoni directing, it was set to be a huge Hollywood moment. But almost immediately, rumors started spreading that all was not well on set. Reports of constant script rewrites, creative conflicts, and friction between Blake and Justin began surfacing. At first, sources blamed Justin, suggesting he was too controlling over the project. But then, leaked messages began to surface that completely flipped the narrative. The text suggested that Blake Lively herself was the one stirring the pot behind the scenes. Even more shocking? She allegedly wanted Ryan Reynolds to step in and manipulate the media narrative in her favor. And once Wrexham's board found out, everything fell apart.
About a month ago, this really hit home with me too. About a month ago, I was sitting in traffic and I was just jamming These Dreams by heart. Oh. I was killing it in the car. And there was just this busload of high school kids that were parked right beside me. I didn't even realize. I looked over and every one of their jaws were just on the ground laughing their friggin' guts out at me.
According to insider sources, Blake didn't just want to handle the drama herself. She allegedly wanted Ryan to help clean up her mess. In a series of leaked messages, Blake reportedly hinted that Ryan could use his Hollywood influence and Wrexham's growing media platform to shift the conversation. The goal? Frame Justin Baldoni as the difficult one on set. Use Ryan's celebrity connections to get journalists on her side. Ensure that Blake was portrayed as the victim of a toxic production. And here's where things get really messy. Ryan might have actually done it. Some reports suggest that Ryan offered exclusive interviews to certain outlets, seemingly as part of a deal to protect Blake's reputation. If true, this meant that Wrexham's platform was being used for Hollywood damage control, something that completely violated the club's code of ethics. And that's when the board stepped in.
My relationship with my father, which was very complicated and difficult. My dad was a very, I come from a middle class, kind of blue-collar home, and my dad was just of that generation where it's just he was Clint Eastwood and less is more. Simple grunts is how he communicated.
Okay, gotcha.
I think people tell themselves stories, and this sort of comes back to your worldview that you just mentioned about.
Ryan and Rob McElhenney's purchase of Wrexham A.F.C. was a feel-good underdog story. Two Hollywood actors investing in a struggling football club and turning it into a global sensation? It was a fairy tale. Ryan was deeply involved, engaging with fans, attending games, and using his star power to attract sponsors and investments. But when Wrexham's board got hold of the leaked documents, showing that Ryan might have been blurring the lines between his Hollywood connections and his responsibilities as a co-owner, they took immediate action. Ryan was officially removed from his position as Wrexham co-owner. The board cited breaches of trust related to misinformation, though they didn't name Blake or "it ends with us" directly. And just like that, the Hollywood fairy tale ended in scandal.
I would say that they're more surprises because they have beginnings, middles, and ends. They're not like, it's not just like a, hey, there's the person and we move on. It's they're there for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said it just earlier, but I wanted to go back on that. And you think that this might be the greatest film that you've...
I mean, look, most of the time when the movie is this much fun to make, you out bad.
Rob McElhenney, Ryan's best friend and business partner, was now stuck in the worst possible position. He had always stood by Ryan, pitching the dream of revitalizing Wrexham together. Fans loved their comedic chemistry and believed they were in it for the long haul. But with the club's board making a unanimous decision, Rob had little choice but to support it. His public statement was short and bittersweet. He thanked Ryan for everything he had done for Wrexham. He reassured fans that the club was in good hands, and he made it clear that the team's integrity came first. For fans, that was the hardest part to accept. The backlash was immediate and brutal. Some fans burned their Wrexham jerseys in protest. Others demanded transparency, questioning if Blake's involvement was even worse than reported. Meanwhile, Hollywood insiders were having their own conversations. Many speculated that Blake saw Wrexham's success as a way to distract from her own controversies. If true, it meant she was willing to use Ryan's position and credibility as a tool for personal gain. The more details leaked, the uglier it got. And at the center of it all, Ryan Reynolds, caught between his loyalty to Blake and the club he helped build. This scandal isn't just about Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, it's about how power and influence operate behind the scenes in Hollywood. For decades, we've seen celebrities use their platforms, relationships, and media connections to control narratives, silence critics, and manipulate public perception. But rarely do these behind-the-scenes tactics spill into the world of professional sports until now. Ryan's removal from Wrexham is one of the most stunning Hollywood downfalls in recent memory. Just a year ago, he was celebrated as the perfect co-owner, bringing international attention, investment, and a newfound passion to a struggling football club. He was a fan favorite, someone who was different from the typical distant, corporate club owners. But if the reports are true, this entire controversy proves one thing, that even the most likable celebrities aren't immune to playing the Hollywood game. Ryan and Blake's situation isn't unique. It's just one of the rare times we're seeing these types of tactics exposed on a global stage. In Hollywood, influence is a currency. Celebrities leverage their relationships to land roles, shape media coverage, and control how the public sees them. Some of the most powerful stars have been accused of blacklisting actors, pressuring studios, and even manipulating entire film productions to protect their careers. Some examples? Harvey Weinstein's infamous control over Hollywood careers, using media influence to suppress negative stories and ruin the careers of those who spoke out against him. Tom Cruise's alleged influence over the press, ensuring that journalists only ask approved questions and that his public image remains intact. Amber Heard and Johnny Depp's PR war, where both sides allegedly used strategic media leaks to control public perception during their court battles. And now, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' scandal is being added to that list. But here's the difference. Unlike traditional Hollywood conflicts, this time the consequences went beyond the industry, impacting the world of professional sports. Final thought. Is this the end of Hollywood's power couple? Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have always been seen as the perfect Hollywood duo, a couple that balanced fame, success, and humor effortlessly. But after this scandal, their once untouchable reputation is hanging by a thread. Ryan's removal from Wrexham has changed everything. The question now isn't just whether he was wrongfully pushed out, but whether this scandal will leave permanent cracks in his marriage. For Blake, the stakes are just as high. If the reports are true, if she really used Ryan's influence to manipulate the media, it could cost her more than just bad press. It could jeopardize her Hollywood future entirely. So what happens next? Will Ryan try to clear his name or stay silent to protect Blake? Can Blake recover from the backlash, or will Hollywood turn its back on her? And most importantly, is their marriage strong enough to survive a scandal this big? One thing's for sure, Hollywood loves a comeback story, but it never forgets a betrayal. Let me know what you think in the comments. Was Ryan unfairly caught in the crossfire, or did he go too far to protect Blake? And do you think their marriage will last after this? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Hollywood deep dives. Because in Hollywood, the truth always comes out. It's just a matter of time.